Hey there, Earthlings. Thanks for tuning in to the Bardo Podcast. I'm your host, Tony Bardo, where we talk about health, happiness, and anything else that's important to us humans. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the podcast by visiting thebardo.com or just click the little subscribe button wherever you listen to the podcast. And be sure to check out my Instagram at thebardo for all the latest videos and content. Thanks so much and enjoy the episode.
You're just funny. It's funny, you know, the way you tell the story and everything.
Funny how?
Come here, though. Yeah, he's crazy, see? Who are you?
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Are you ready?
Okay, ladies and gents. Hey, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in to another episode. This will be a pretty quick one. I got the chance to have a good friend of mine, Ben Mangum. He's a very popular guest here on the Bardo Podcast, but he owns a company, Blueprint Productions. I had him on a few weeks ago, but he actually came to the studio because I had him do some side work for the company that I work for. So we got the opportunity to kind of talk a little bit about that and about his business, and he does just great video work, and his video production company has done a lot of stuff for my podcast, like my cool intro video that you see on YouTube. Ben did that, and his company, Blueprint Productions. So we talk a little bit about kind of what he's up to now, as well as the current scope of social media. We touch base a little bit on that and how to create content, and should we be creating it, or should we just be having fun doing stuff? And we kind of dive into what got us both started on this path, how we met. And in the beginning of the podcast, we kind of talk a little bit about movies. And I just found out on this podcast, talking with him, I've known him for, 3-4 years. And I didn't realize he has never seen superhero movies. Like, what? How have I not known this? So I spend a large portion of the podcast busting his chops a little bit. So Ben, sorry, but that's what you get. You need to see some Marvel and DC movies. Okay, bud? But anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this podcast. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the show. You could do that anywhere you're listening to podcasts, or follow me on Spotify, but we're available everywhere, including YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe there. And, of course, with the holidays coming up, lots of cool gifts are available on the shop, thebardo.com/shop. I even created some really cool t-shirts I think you guys will like, t-shirts and sweaters. That kind of, tip a hat to some of my favorite Christmas movies, including Elf and Christmas Vacation. I will let you look those up, but I think you'll enjoy those. Again, just something for the holidays. I think it'll be fun, and we're doing some cool sales on the shop as well, thebardo.com/shop, for all that gear and swag. And, of course, every penny goes to supporting the podcast to allow me to put out more content. And then, of course, I do all the editing myself, so it's just it helps me and it helps support the podcast. So check that out as well. But without further ado, let me introduce to you guys and gals my friend, videographer, and owner of Blueprint Productions right here in Florida, Ben Mangum. We'll talk about it now. Is this other variant?
Variant?
Yeah, the pandemic.
The JetBlue, or the Delta?
The Delta.
You're talking about the one from like months ago, or is it?
No, dude, there's a new one.
Oh, God.
Yeah, go right here.
Oh, right here.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, dude, there's a brand new one. You didn't hear about this?
Yeah, I think I saw a meme about it.
It's the meme. It's the Omni, or the.
They're like, they're not buying it. We're gonna create a new variant.
This is the Delta one didn't work, so let's make up a new one. No, apparently this one it's not as bad.
Okay.
But you can still spread it.
Okay.
But when it's not as deadly, apparently, as when it's the Omicron.
Okay.
Say it with me now. Omicron. Yes.
Sounds like a villain in Spider-Man or something.
It does, which is why I dig it. And the new Spider-Man comes out next week, so maybe that's why.
Is Tobey Maguire in it?
Allegedly. Allegedly, Toby and Andrew are in it. This is a perfect example of our podcast, how it goes, how it goes from coronavirus to Spider-Man.
Yeah. I haven't seen any of the Spider-Mans past Tobey Maguire. Any of them.
Wait, what do you mean? Like,
I've seen like the 3.
hold on. So you haven't seen like The Amazing Spider-Man
Like,
with Andrew Garfield?
who's Andrew Garfield?
He's the guy that came in after Toby to take over for Spider.
No. Mm-mm.
What about The Amazing Spider-Man 2 with Andrew Garfield?
Mm-mm. In the cartoon, no.
No, that's the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like
Oh.
the one where the Sunflower song was the theme song.
Oh my God, that was like in the 90s. Wasn't it?
No, the newer one that happened a couple years ago.
Cartoon?
Yeah, like animated, I mean.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
Can
you
we
mean-
change the subject?
You mean Into the Spider-Verse?
I don't even
That
know
one.
that. I'm sorry.
What about the Avengers? Did you see the Avengers with Spider-Man?
Bro, I'm sorry. I haven't seen any of the Avengers.
Wait, you haven't seen? How have we never talked about this before? I think I've just assumed that you've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Like, I didn't see Endgame or any of those. I saw the first Iron Man. Let's think about I love Batman. I've seen the Batmans. I've seen Daredevil, Ben Affleck.
so you're up to date with all the Daredevil movies.
Well, there's only one, right?
Yeah. But-
I'm so-
But there's a great series on Netflix.
I think I saw a season or 2. I didn't finish it out. I should have finished it. That was good.
Yes.
Saw the first Iron Man. I've seen Batman versus Superman.
So you're just kind of all over the place with your movies.
Yeah, a lot of superhero movies, I feel like they're predictable, and I just don't really like. I think the CGI and like the action and the craziness is cool of like the budget that they put into it, but other than that, I don't really get. It doesn't.
It's not a. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I've
'Cause
seen Venom. I saw that one.
Venom was good.
Yeah, that was cool.
You see the second one?
Mm-mm.
It was good. It was all right. Well, I've had better.
I should probably.
No.
Yeah, I should go back.
No.
It's too far gone.
Yeah, don't even worry about it. It's like something stupid where I think it's like 10 years they've been maybe more. They've been doing Marvel movies, so
Mm-hmm.
it would take you forever to binge.
There's like 30 previous movies before Endgame, right?
That's right, something like that. Yeah,
Oh, it's crazy.
that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot. And you got all the new stuff that's coming out. So even when you try to keep up, you're always going to be behind.
Yeah.
And there's so many other great shows out there too. And movies. So I get what you're saying about the CGI, because it is kind of, superhero movies are kind of like predictable rather, where it gets kind of boring at sometimes. So I get that. I mean, do you have a genre that you enjoy, or you just?
Well, I do like thriller and action movies as well. So it's interesting why I say that about superhero movies.
Yeah,
But
it's
then
very
But
contradicting.
then I do like action movies and
Are you sure?
thriller movies. I do, yeah, for sure.
Just not comic book.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Here's even more crazy, that we've known each other for 3-something years, and we've never talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I just assumed that you've seen them because everyone else has. And our friendship, I think, was stronger because I knew that you saw these movies.
You're
and-
like, who the fuck is this guy?
And now that I know you haven't seen them, I feel like our relationship has taken a massive step back.
Mm. What can we do to mend this?
Well, I don't need to do anything. You're the one that needs to see every superhero movie since 1997.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
So should we just cut this podcast out, and the little time that we do have, just focus on...
Something positive?
I was going to say just watch Marvel movies.
Oh, no.
Does EJ, when you hang out with him, does he bust chops at all?
He probably doesn't know it either.
Oh my God, I'm sending this clip. This is for EJ. EJ, by the way, Ben has not seen any superhero movie ever. So
I have. I used to have a poster of the Amazing Spider-Man above my bed in elementary school, and I had a Spider-Man blanket.
Ooh,
and the matching bed set.
damn. All right, so,
So-
you're redeemed.
You know, as a kid, I was definitely, I had the, little action figures.
Yeah, the little guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not bad. You're redeemed for that. We forgive you. But thriller and action, has there been any movies that you've seen lately that are worth talking about? Any good ones?
Movie recently, I
Or
watched
series or anything?
season 2 of Tiger King. No, I don't really recommend it. But
Did you watch season 2?
I did. It
Is he just in the prison?
He is, but it's more of like there's a lot of details we didn't know about Carol Baskin's husband. So now they have a case on trying to find him and things
he's
like
missing?
that. Or her ex-husband who disappeared.
Right. The dude that
they-
was eaten.
Yeah, so they were, whacked him. They were kind of sharing some backstory about him, and then I guess if you watch season 1 and you should watch it. I mean,
Yeah.
there's like 5 episodes, so it's like, sure.
I mean, if your taste on Tiger King is like your taste on superhero movies, I'm gonna have to watch it, I think.
Yeah, it was like,
Yeah, I'm not too. I wasn't too. I mean, it was funny this first
yeah,
season,
it's more just like, what the fuck?
right?
Yeah.
But I feel like 5 years from now, if this is the only Tiger King series that comes out and this is the last one, I feel like I would be in a situation like you're in, where it's like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, someone's gonna be, oh, did you see Tiger King? Yeah, but only the first season. Like, I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, just watch it. It's
I gotta watch
really-
it to finish it off. Yeah.
Is there any movies that you've seen? That's horrible of me to ask because I could just go to your YouTube channel and see which movies
All the
you
reviews.
reviewed.
Yeah, that's true. I have seen some pretty good movie. I mean, I did see Red Notice that just came out with the Rock.
Ryan
And
Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds.
Okay, yeah.
That was good. I don't know. I mean, I love Ryan Reynolds and The Rock, so I'm kind of biased, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's like one of those weird situations. But I think it's worth watching because it's free. It's on Netflix.
I've seen Deadpool.
That is.
The first one.
You haven't seen the second one? Jesus Christ.
Shout out to Mint Mobile. Yeah.
Shout out to Mint Mobile. But yeah, I did see Red Notice. That was good. Not a whole lot of good movies. I'm hooked now on Apple Plus.
Okay.
Do you have Apple Plus?
No, I'm not familiar.
So it's Apple streaming service. But if you have a Roku, you can get it. It's like $6 a month.
Okay.
But think of it just like a Hulu or Amazon, whatever. But they have a lot of original shows. So like Ted Lasso, if you hear about that was on there. Watch that series. Hilarious. I think it won an Emmy for Best Comedy Series, maybe. We just finished The Morning Show with Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon. Fucking awesome. There was that movie with Justin Timberlake that was on Apple Plus. That's called Palmer.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good movie. We just saw that. More of a drama. Kind of like not a rom-com, but what would be like, I guess it would be a drama.
What about Yellowstone? I've never seen that, but recently I had someone bring it up to me like, you've never heard of Yellowstone? I'm like, no, never heard of
Yeah.
it. And then after that, I've heard multiple people talk about it because that season that just popped up or
It's
whatever.
a new one, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I've
never seen it.
it's
I
like
hear
a
really good
Cowboy
things too.
Sopranos or something like
Right,
that.
exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've seen numerous people talk about it, and then also to that one, and then another one is Ray Donovan,
Okay.
which is on Showtime, but he's coming out with a movie now. So but they haven't had and like Dexter, that's another one where they're coming out with a new season. Have you heard of Dexter?
Yeah, I watched the first 3 seasons, and I was like, "There's no way there's this many serial killers in Miami. I'm over it." Like I did enjoy it, but
Yeah. But it was a lot. It's like all
I
right,
just got
that's
bored.
enough.
Really,
Yeah.
it wasn't that I was like feeling really some type of way. I was just like, "Eh."
Yeah, I kind of felt that way with like Law and Order.
I never
Like,
got into it.
Yeah, Special Victims Unit. I love that show. And it's, it's entertaining. I like to have it on the background sometimes. But then after like season 15 or whatever it is, it's like, okay. Are they really going to get in these shenanigans all the time?
Yeah, I do have memories as a kid of watching CSI Las Vegas, and that one is near and dear to my heart. But other than that, I prefer true crime all day compared to just the fiction shows, because
Yeah.
you know, they're gonna get the bad guy at the end, and it's just
Yeah, I want something where I'd love to see a movie or a series where the villain wins, and it's just like boom, end credits.
like Making a Murderer or something.
Yeah, have you seen that show?
Mm-hmm.
Was that good?
It's pretty fucked up.
Is it?
And the kid was basically retarded. Like these kids are just
Oh, I
just
think
so
we did see
dumb
that
where
on
they
Netflix.
just basically feed him in what he says and then just
Yeah.
like, you know, manipulates him.
And
And that's
let
the
'em go.
same thing. We just watched another one where this. Oh, where were they? I mean, pretty much where they just frame people. Those are the ones that suck. Where people are like convicted for like 30 years.
Yeah,
they
it's
didn't do
fucked
it.
up. And they end up either getting free after 30, but then at that point, like, okay, so you went in when you're 18, but now you're almost 50. Like, what do you do? It's not like you can't get a job.
It's fucked.
Yeah, it's fucked up, dude. Like, what can he do?
Maybe they'll get some clout from the Netflix documentary and just, I don't know, try to ride that. But
I
they're like,
wonder,
what's an
yeah.
iPhone?
Yeah. Oh, that's a great point. I never thought about that. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's shitty.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine that. Like, you get out and you literally, like, it's a time machine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you've been in a time machine. Because it's not like if you look at the news on a daily basis, they're not talking about innovation.
Yeah.
They're not talking about the new Mac or the new camera or all this new stuff. They're just talking about things that are going on in the world. So, like, when you're in prison, you might get the news, but you're not aware of, like, culture and what's going on. It would almost be like, remember that Austin Powers, the first one, when he goes, is it when he goes back in time? Or no, he gets unfrozen. Have you not seen Austin Powers either?
Something about $1 trillion, and he's like, $1 trillion? Why not $1 billion? That's like the only.
Because
That's like the only part I know.
because you saw the clips. You didn't watch the whole movie.
I'm sorry, man. This
Jesus
is just a bad
Christ.
episode.
Well, it's a bad episode about movies.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, just pretend like you know the reference. So in Austin Powers, he gets frozen because he's like this British 007 type character. So they freeze him. And then next thing you know, boom, he wakes up and it's, I don't know, whatever it was, year 2000 or year 1990. But he was from the 70s. So he gets there and like, you know, guys are like having their pants around their ankles, walking around and,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's like all new to him. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what it would be like if you got out of prison, I would imagine, is like you wake up one day and you go outside and you're like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah,
What is
that'd
this
be
Tesla?
crazy. And I think this would be an interesting conversation. It's random, but it's kind of related. Of like, you're old enough to experience before social media, right?
It was insulting, yes.
And then, so think about how you felt back then, and then compare
Mm.
it to like what we do or what you do with marketing or to make videos and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
what if there was no like social media or something?
Ooh.
Like, what would you like? Would you be into marketing? I don't know, but
Ooh, that's
it's interesting. Of like, what do you think you would be doing? Because
Yeah.
you've always been a trainer, like worked at a beverage company, right?
Yeah, yeah. Ooh, that's very interesting. That's a good point. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, if there was no marketing, I mean, not necessarily marketing, but if there was no like digital or social media,
But there's still like films, there's still
Sure.
movies.
maybe I would get into, maybe I would still be a documentarian. Maybe
Like
I
a
would do
journalist?
documentaries. Yeah, or a journalist, yeah. But I don't believe in journalism the way it is now. So if I see how it's been and how it's going, I probably would have got out of that and wanted to do my own thing, even if there was no platform to do it. I think I would just do it and then try to sell it to like, you know, movie theaters or production companies.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what I would probably do. Because I would always, and I might even do a podcast on this at some point, because I have video. My dad gave me video of, I think I was 13 or 12. My parents were still together, but it's videos of, we used to travel every summer. We used to go around the country. So like one year we went up and down the East Coast. So we did the Carolinas, we did Tennessee, all the way up to New York. Another year we did California, that whole coast, the West Coast. Another year we did like Midwest, Grand Canyon, like all that type of stuff. So I have these videos, and in each of these videos, I did this like old school camcorder. I don't even remember what it was. I'm trying to think. But I used to face the camera, and wherever we would go, I used to say, "Welcome to Tony Talk." That's what I used to call it. Is I would say, "Hey, this is Tony Talk." And I had braces. I was fat. It was hideous. That's why I haven't posted anything, because it is god awful to watch.
You were fat?
Oh my God, Brenda's the only one that's seen it. It was bad. Yeah, it was fat. Yeah, it was bad. So like, I had no, what do you call it?
Don't eat that. No neck.
Well, I had multiple necks, but I had like no depth perception. Like I would hold the camera up at weird angles, because you don't know, right? You never, there was never an outlet to post it and see it.
Yeah.
So it's like, it was so weird to videotape yourself back then because you would videotape and just watch it.
Sure.
It's not like you might go home later and hook it up to the TV and everyone watches it and they laugh, but there was no editing. So it was these long, ridiculous, pointless videos, very shaky. But it's weird that we never criticized it. Like I remember specifically playing that stuff back for my family after we got back and like, oh my God, Tony, great job filming.
There's no reference.
Correct.
Yeah.
So now you look at it and you're like, that's horrible. But I would imagine very similar to like, if you watch the new Spider-Mans today versus what you saw with Tobey. Back then, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man was like the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
Because it was nostalgic. But now you look at it and you're like, whoa. It's like a different level. But it's all CGI and all this stuff. So I get it. But it's interesting because it was called Tony Talk. So I always used to do that. And I think that'd be a cool podcast to see like how it was full circle.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's interesting still having the video. Yeah, no, it's interesting to think about what you would do. Or I think that is a great point of like doing something just to do it. You you naturally, pointed the camera at yourself and started talking. And I think it shows what you like naturally gravitate towards compared to creating something for gratification from other people. Yeah, that's true. Or like the sake of creating just to create. Right. Before it was even a thing. And yeah, I think there was always something, I don't know, like what about you? Because I know you've been doing video for quite some time, but have you always been like infatuated with gear and cameras and doing stuff, or has it been just these last few years kind of picking up on it? I try, like I do watch content about gear and stuff like that. Maybe I'm a bit more infatuated than the average person who doesn't, mess with cameras or whatever. But I wish I could remember more of like what I was thinking when I was like making stuff, when I was younger. Cause I remember like I had like the flip camera. I think that's what it's called. The vertical small thing. I think that was the first. That was the one. Yeah. And I think like making vines and stuff like that. Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting to think back of like why you did something. And my older sister Sarah was in TV Pro in high school, so that was like the first time I remember seeing myself on camera. And then like, they did something with the video in class, and like you just like, oh my God, like, I'm on TV. Yeah. Yeah. So I think that was like the first time of where I started to think that I liked it. And I would do like little dumb stuff, on YouTube or whatever. Yeah. But I wish I still had it. I don't have any of those. Really? That'd be cool to see. Yeah, and it makes me more curious that there was just let's say there was a group of 20 people that looked at that and videotaped themselves when they were kids, back in the 90s or whatever. And they looked at this like, this would be cool if we could do this from our pocket. Right? Because, I mean, Steve Jobs, of course, started the iPhone, but he wasn't the first one to come up with a camera. So there was eventually a group of people that got together and thought this was a great idea to do it. And it's interesting to me to think that they had those visions. Like, there were so many people that probably thought that, but what made them push it over the edge? Were they very conceited and they just wanted to be famous? And they're like, hey, instead of being an actor, we could just do these little videos and create this camcorder or video, like whatever, and do it. Because camcorders were a thing, of course, when we were kids. I mean, there was the 8mm back in the day in the 80s and the 70s, but no one did anything with it, which is so weird. It's like people only did these videos and took photos to just put it up either on a TV or to show their friends and family. Almost like you kept a wallet and you had pictures in the wallet. Remember that was a thing? Like our parents did that? Yeah. But then it transformed into
taking video. And then you would just keep video on your camcorder and just be like, hey, it's Thanksgiving. Do you guys want to see something fun? And you just plugged it in the TV and that was it. But it was so pointless. Like when you think about it now, it's just, it was a video.
I think people get compelled to do something. Maybe they see a problem. They're like, where could this be better? Like, man, it'd be cool if it was like this.
That's
and
right.
then you have the idea and you know, there's some little engineers or whatever, and they get you tinkering and
yeah, let's do this. Yeah, see? Yeah. Yeah, but it would be
great episode.
Great episode, guys. Okay, so
This is not getting posted.
no, it probably will, but no one's gonna listen to it. But that's okay. This is why we don't do, we do content. We do it to not care what people think.
It does make something about conversations a little bit more, engaging.
It does.
You have to.
Well, and that's why I love having conversations with, like, someone like you here versus.
Even though I don't watch superhero movies.
Yes. Well, I tried to forget about that, but you just brought it up again, and it just irritated me again. But there's something about wearing the headset, and
I think we're all just a little narcissistic and like to hear ourselves.
yes, I think that's exactly it. The inflection in the voice and the breathing. Eiffel. My wife would make fun of me for that. Eiffel. You know what that means? What's Rachel's nationality?
Italian.
All Italian?
I think English as well. Something like that.
You think? That's fun. You'll get in trouble for that one.
Well, her mom's adopted. Her dad's straight Italian, so her mom's adopted. So it's like
Whatever her mom
sure.
is.
I think she did Ancestry.com. There was a variety of things going on there.
Kind of like a mutt. That's cool. Nothing wrong with that. Well, the reason I say is because if something smells bad or if you don't like something, the Spanish culture, you say Eiffel. So I, and then full. Eiffel.
God, get out of the fucking baño.
Get out of the baño.
What is it?
Baño, like bathroom?
Yeah.
Baños, yeah.
Baño. Okay.
Yeah.
Brenda.
Brenda.
We need a translator.
Get a translator up in here. Tony and Ben are speaking Spanish. But no, this is cool. So you're out here, you're going to do some work for us.
Yeah, I thought we had to go.
Yeah, well, I said it specifically to give us 20 extra minutes because I know this is how things go.
Okay.
So we don't have to leave for another 30 minutes. But see how I did that? I set a timer. You're like my wife. Like if I need to go somewhere and I need to be at a dinner reservation at 7 o'clock, what do you think I tell her? I'm like, babe, we have to be there at 6.
Yeah.
And then we always leave like at 6:15. And the whole time I'm like, we're going to miss our fucking reservation. Thanks for this.
That's fucked
I'm going to have
up.
to reschedule. And then when we get there, she goes, I go, reservation for Tony. And then usually the hostess always fucks it up and they're like, oh, for 7? And I'm like, you bitch. Because I told my wife 6. So
Nice.
yeah. But yeah, no, this is fun. Can you talk about what you're gonna potentially do with this other guy, or no, is that like under wraps?
I technically can't. I think it's like, I think you have to like get some form. I don't know all the rules.
You got to do a contract.
Well, yeah, I signed an NDA of like.
Then you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Non-disclosure agreement.
That's right. That's what NDA is, folks, in case you want to know. No, but that's exciting. So, but the reason I wanted to bring it up slightly is because now you're getting more gigs. You know, you've only been in this for a couple of years, but I think the reason why it's important for people to know is if you like what to do,
Yeah.
and there's something you want to do.
Dude, it's funny. I was at a shoot this morning and I saw this guy and, I introduced myself and he's like, hey, I know you. And we hung out like 5 years ago, mutual friends.
From the Barada podcast, probably. He knows you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, you stuck with it. Like, you see you making videos and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, I don't even remember. Like, was I doing it then? He's like, yeah, you had a camera and some setup. I'm like, I didn't even remember, And it's funny that you know, time goes on and you like you keep doing something, you're like, oh yeah, or like looking back at like the first podcast we did, you're like, you know, are you gonna do this or do that or whatever? I'm like, oh no, I'm probably gonna wait till I like build up my portfolio to like make it a business or whatever. So that was like before I did it at all, and that's, you know, like 3 years ago or something like that. So it's funny.
And then it kind of like you envisioned it, maybe subconsciously you were kind of thinking about doing it, and then eventually it just so happens, right? And you end up, you know, having those visions. That's why they say, what's that meditation thought where they say
manifestation, law of attraction.
Exactly.
Well, no, I actually was feeling really grateful last night, and that's when I found out that I was working with that boxer, and I started to trace it back because you know, it's interesting. At first, I was doing like concerts and music videos, and I kind of laugh at it a little bit, not in a like condescending way, but in a way of like just like where you were at in life.
Right.
But it's also so cool because like those people that I was hanging out with led to me going to Miami for Art Basel, and we didn't even meet there, but I met someone who was on your team or whatever, and then she connected us, and then you know, the wedding, and then doing
shout out to Lauren.
Yeah, and
That's
and
wild.
now we're here shooting this video, and that's you know, doing the different things, and you just meet different people, and then you get connected. It's I feel like it's cliche to say like relationships are important, but you look back and connect it all together, and you're like, wow, like it came together. It's pretty.
It's so true. Yeah, and I mean that's why you never burn a bridge. You know, that's if there's anything to take from this podcast about nothing, is never burn a bridge, always build relationships. And, you know, we always like to think to ourselves that we're not selfish, right? We always think, you know,
We're selfish.
we are selfish. And I think it's okay to be selfish. I tell this to Brenda all the time, where it's like, if your friends aren't on the same page as you, or even your family's on the same page, but if you're just always worried about yourself, and I tell her to worry about her more than worry about me in terms of like success, what I'm doing, you know, what, of course it's okay to care about each other, like to be safe naturally. But in terms of like what I do with my career or what I'm doing with my free time, she shouldn't worry about me. She needs to worry about herself and what makes her happy. Because I think if you're in any relationship, whether you're married or you're single or you just have friends, if you're always worried about those friends, emotionally you get more attached. A great example would be like if you were just a shit show. Like if you're getting wasted every night and you are bouncing from career to career, and I put your name as or you know, you put me as a reference and I go to bat for you and you end up fucking it up, and we have a relationship, but you keep fucking up because you're just a mess.
Yeah.
Well, that's me not being selfish. That's me caring more about you, a friend. And that's the wrong way to think. You want to do that, of course, but at the end of the day, you got to take care of yourself. And if every single person takes care of themselves, we're all going to be happier and we're all going to be in a better situation. And I think that's what happens. That's how you get really good relationships, when you get two people or more than two people that really got their A game and they're worried about themselves and they're doing their own thing and they're making themselves happy. That's how you can kind of spread the love and make other people happy.
Well, it's definitely nice to evolve with people and evolve with relationships, of going off and doing your own thing. And, you know, however amount of times you talk together, but, you know, you're out doing your own thing, getting better, leveling up, and then you can come back together. And, you know, it's interesting looking back of like, maybe you didn't get that opportunity, but maybe you also weren't ready yet. And then
That's right.
The reason I was scrolling through my phone of people being selfish, but it's also funny of like genuinely wanting to help another person. Oh crap, we're live on the podcast.
Millions of people will be viewing this. No pressure.
Oh no, so there was this the Go Giver. It's a short book. I just got it for my birthday.
Ooh.
And it's like 120 pages long, but it's really cool. There's different laws in it. There's 5, and one of them is the law of influence, and your influence is determined by how abundantly you place other people's interests first. And it's not about, hey, I scratch your back, you scratch mine. It's not about counting favors and what you've done for other people, but genuinely
doing it.
wanting to help those people. But, you know, also not feeling attached to those other people too, because I definitely feel you. Like, you
Yeah.
know, you're 19 hanging out with a group of guys, and it's just that's all you're doing, and you're not getting
Yeah.
any better or improving. And yeah,
But, you know, sometimes that's what we need. We need to do that, get it out of our system,
yeah,
and then eventually we'll learn from it.
I
So-
know. I was speaking of birthdays. You know, I feel like birthdays you start to reminisce or whatever. And I was out to dinner with my mom and my sister and Rachel, and man, we started drinking early in my family. At least, so like speaking of that, just looking back of like, but I'm like glad it happened though, to where you like fuck up as a little kid, and
That's right.
you know, as a teenager you're just drinking, getting shit faced, and
Yeah, you don't know.
then now at 25 I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm not that I don't ever drink or have
Sure.
a drink, but you just get it behind you and it's nice.
Yeah, sometimes you get that shit out of your system and then you're like, I'm glad I did it, because now it's kind of better when you're a little bit older and then you're not doing it, because then you could appreciate it a little bit more, I feel like.
Yeah,
Like, I feel like if you went your whole like teenage life and, you know, your early 20s or your teens specifically and didn't experiment or do some things, then it would be worse, because you do bond with friends, and it's kind of cool because if you all come out of it, you'll know who
came out of
who
it.
came,
And
then
then
you'd be
there's
like,
those who started smoking crack.
yeah, and then you're like, oh, okay, you didn't make it, peace, and then I'm out.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's almost good to kind of get that shit out of the way, like a Band-Aid, you gotta rip it off.
And it's like, you know what, I would. It's funny looking at people like that. You know what, I could have been there. I could have, like, I was drinking a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, it was rough. No, but we're all in a better place. I'm excited to have you. We're going to have some fun tonight. We need to head out now. But ladies and gents, hopefully you enjoyed this. We just kind of shot the shit a little bit. And thanks for tuning in. Make sure you follow Ben if you don't already. Blueprint Productions. Very exciting. A lot of growth in the company. Give some shout outs to Instagram. What do you got going on?
Yo, I don't really post on IG, but, you know, you can follow me at Ben C. Mangum. That's Mangum.
Okay.
No, I mean, if you want to, like, connect, you can find me on Facebook or something. And then I don't know. I actually don't post on Instagram like that, but maybe I should.
Maybe you should. Maybe you will after this.
Nah, I probably won't.
Yeah.
No, but you know, if you're like a professional, you can find me on LinkedIn.
Ooh, LinkedIn. Shout out.
We can connect.
Ben Mangum. Look it up. Link in the description. Ben, thanks as always for tuning in, man, and hanging out on the podcast.
Sorry, that was a terrible shout out to my own plugs, but you guys should follow Tony, actually.
Yeah, if you don't already, make sure you follow me at the Bardo.
Subscribe.
Yes. All right, ladies and gents, we out. Peace.
Peace.